Smash and grab, masked thieves ransack a southeast phone store. The emotional plea from the parents of a murdered teenager as calls grow for a youth crime royal commission. Exclusive, a Redlands rugby club left devastated after a hoon tore up the turf. And outrage after a jacaranda is torn down on the Gold Coast. Why police were called in.
Live from Brisbane, 7 News with Samantha Heathwood.
Good evening. A tropical low developing in the Coral Sea is now looking more likely to cross the Queensland coast as a strong cyclone next week. It's one of 3 severe weather threats bearing down on the state, along with monsoonal rain and unbearable heat.
A spectacular display over Brisbane, lightning crawling across the sky, illuminating the city during an overnight storm, helping drop the temperature just enough for walkers this morning.
It's mad. It's like swimming in a bowl of soup.
It's all right. It's not as bad as it's been.
Queensland is in the midst of a triple weather threat, a heatwave, monsoon and developing cyclone.
But it's really struggled over the last 24 hours because of the atmospheric winds. So they've been trying to topple over the system.
It's pushed back predictions of when the cyclone will form to Monday. The longer it takes, the stronger it could get, and the chance of it crossing the coast is growing.
We could see, long after it's crossed the coast, heavy rainfall developing away from that landfall area and even over places further south than where it's crossed.
After flooding following Cyclone Jasper, today the road between Cairns and Port Douglas finally reopened. Meanwhile, in the west, some roads have been cut after a monsoon trough brought more rain.
The average for Georgetown, for instance, is around 225 millimetres at Georgetown Airport. So far this year, in January, they've had 335 millimetres.
As the north keeps an eye on the cyclone, the southeast is watching the temperature set to rise into the mid to high 30s as heatwave conditions ramp up.
Menus used as fans at South Bank restaurants. The real thing was in high demand.
Pretty gross right now. Yeah, we're a bit clammy.
Like this.
As Queensland sweats through summer. Rosanna Kingson, 7 News.
And Mel Whiteman, there were plenty trying to cool off on the Gold Coast today.
And they're in no hurry to head home, Sam. The beach here at Surfers Paradise is still busy. The temperature here is 27 degrees tonight after a hot and humid day. Families hit our waterways and water parks trying to beat the heat and end the school holidays on a high.
A soaking to get through a scorcher.
Disgustingly hot.
As the day became hotter, Wet and Wild was busier. Brisbane locals like Susan Milicevic heading south as the temperature soared.
This is next level.
Many making the most of recently announced tourism vouchers, supporting Gold Coast businesses while cooling down.
Get to save money and have a good time, so it's a score.
Cheers! Others were ending their school holidays with a refreshing thrill.
3, 2, 1, woo! We've come from Victoria. We're going back tomorrow, so good way to end the holiday.
At Bundall, swimmers were swapped for tracksuits, hundreds hiding from the high humidity by hitting the ice.
We've been so busy, especially with the heat lately. It's been a lot busier than normal.
And of course, beaches were bustling too.
From the moment the flags are up, we have a crowd and they're there right till the end.
Get the last bit of, I guess, fun out of the school holidays. We were sitting in the shallows for a while and just cooled off, and then, I could just feel that I got really relaxed.
Tomorrow is forecast to be even hotter. Lifeguards say they're preparing for big crowds arriving early again.
So we'll have all the beaches heavily staffed, and the main message is everyone just come to the flags and do the right thing.
To stay cool and safe. On the Gold Coast, Mel Whiteman, 7 News.
Almost a month on from the devastating Christmas Day storm, residents in Toowoomba are getting a redo. Laura Dimmick is there. Laura, a free event is underway.
Sam, if anyone deserves to have fun right now, it's the people of this community. They've endured wild storms and flooding at possibly the worst time of the year. But tonight, They are having fun, they are celebrating. There's a concert, activities and food, something for everyone to finally enjoy. And this event was put on by volunteers and local small businesses in just 18 days. Let's get into the weather, and it was another hot and sticky day in the southeast. These numbers don't really show how uncomfortable it was. Brisbane's top of 31 felt more like 37, and look at the minimums dropping only to 24 almost this entire month. Brisbane's minimum temperature has been above its January average of 21, so there's been no reprieve from the heat overnight for weeks now. Sam, I'll be back with more weather soon.
Thank you, Laura. Well, the Prime Minister has